So I'm making a Canoptek Tomb Stalker stroke Tomb Sentinel. Yes, it is going to be magnetised and I want an epic base for it. And today I'm going to make it. It's coming right up.
Necrons!
Nick speaking and welcome to this video. Right, I am doing a separate video on me making my base for my upcoming Tomb Stalker conversion video. 3 Necron Wraiths converted into a Tomb Stalker. Yes, I know, Games Workshop have just put the Tomb Stalker and Sentinel into Legends, but I don't care. I had a lot of fun making the miniature. I don't play in tournaments, so I plan to play my miniature and have some fun with it. Now, first of all, of course, I had to get a base the correct size. It's 120mm by 92mm, an oval base, and I just got it from eBay. My original idea was to have something orky for the centipede to be walking over like a dragster or a buggy, but I don't have any of those bits. I asked a few people and nobody had any spare, so I abandoned that idea, and I remembered I had an old monolith that I was given. Now this monolith is quite battered. It is complete, but it's been stuck together with super glue or something and it's not in a good state. Now I already have 3 monoliths. I've got one of the new ones and 2 of the original ones, and I'm not thinking I'm going to need another monolith. 3 is quite a lot. Plus, I don't really have the storage space for another one. So I was thinking this would be pretty cool as a feature on my base. However, the monolith is massive, and I fiddled around a lot trying to work out how I could make this into a terrain feature for this, well, what is quite a small base compared to the monolith. I was thinking I might have to glue the monolith together and then maybe try to cut it to make it look like it's sort of coming out of the ground, because just a flat side panel of a monolith isn't going to look very good on the ground. So I really struggled, to be honest, to work out what I was going to do, but I did come up with an idea. Now I know this is going to make this the most expensive base in my collection, however I do think it's going to be worth it. It's going to look epic. I took the back section of this monolith because I thought it was very distinctive as a monolith, and it had the little green circle in the back, and I thought when it was all painted up that would look really cool. So I was thinking about angling this piece, maybe cutting out one of the side panels and having it angled and then coming out as if it was half buried into the sand. I would then have one of the guns as well, sort of poking up so that it really looks like the side of a monolith. I had to obviously cut this down quite a bit to get it to fit on the base. I gradually cut down one side of the monolith and shaped it so that it matched the base. The other side was going to be in the air. I was going to have the centipede sort of going up this monolith, maybe sort of half coming off the top section. To make it more realistic though, I would have to have a side section. So what I did is I got the section which I cut off on the other side of this piece and switched it around to this edge. And then I was thinking if I glue that together, then I could cut it down and have it half in the air. So that's what I did. I cut it and I glued it and I got it into a position where the monolith was sort of half coming out of the ground. Now in my head I'm not thinking that this is a buried complete monolith. This is a section of a damaged monolith which is settled and it's been buried in the sand. There is a possibility that I could use the leftover pieces as a support maybe on the base to help support the monolith, but I thought if I could really get this monolith stuck down on the base I wouldn't have to support it. So I came up with the idea of making the area that's going to stick onto the base as flat as possible, and I did this by using sandpaper. So I sanded it down, I made it as flat as I could on the section which is going to be on the ground. That was including the ball on the gun. And then I was ready to glue it down, and I really thought that I would be able to glue it and not have to support it, and maybe some of these offcuts that I've got can just go on the ground underneath it as if it was just sort of damaged monolith. So I went about gluing it on. I used plastic glue, a good amount. I held it into position until it was really bonded, and then I let it dry. I added a couple of offcuts to the base, some underneath the monolith and some on the other end. I did have this other top piece section which I thought would look quite good on the base, but I wasn't quite sure how the Tomb Stalker was going to sit on the base. So what I did is I didn't glue it on. I thought I would wait until I did the conversion and see if I need it. As it turned out, I didn't need that piece. So that is the base completed. As I said, I've got my Tomb Stalker conversion video coming very soon. I'd highly recommend that you watch it. I think I've done a really good job at the conversion, but I'd love to know what you think. In the meantime, here is a video which I made about Necron bases. It was at the beginning of 9th edition, but I think you might find it interesting. And here is a playlist featuring all of my other Necron conversions.